Is this it? Get a job, have kids and then die and fade into oblivion? Just do what you enjoy and then fade into oblivion. If having a job and kids is what you're into, all power to you. But if that's not your thing, go find it. Having a job isn't really a choice for almost everybody. I know a group of people who live at a soup kitchen as volunteers. Very little comfort, a life of service. This particular group of people are very happy with a small room, a library card, and decent amount of free time. I've met a few homeless who do the same. They simply don't want to participate. At least in part it's the comforts we seek that are putting us into this life. I live in a little off-grid cabin and every year I improve it, and every time I improve it I couldn't even imagine going back to how it was before I did whatever I did. I literally can't imagine living in it the way it was when I first built it, yet I remember being perfectly happy back then. But now if I imagine it without my little gas stove, solar panels etc., it seems an awful idea. Yeah, at the same time there is plenty of time to do the important things. I am 42. Retired from the US military. I still need to work to maintain my lifestyle, but could totally take that check and a little bit of savings and check out. In 20 more years though, would have. Who knows? I work. I like my new job and still make sure I prioritize my loves in life over trying to make more money. If I have anything left over, hopefully it helps my wife and daughter get closer to the dreams they have. I'm your age, retired military, and have been happily living in a camper van for almost 2 years. Initial plan was to do this for a year, then back to work. Turns out, I love this lifestyle, and because I boondock most of the time I'm actually saving money instead of trying to figure out how to make more. It's not too shabby on this side of the retirement coin. If that's all you do with it, then yeah. Nothing's stopping you from doing more. I chose that route for 5 years. Wouldn't recommend it. The job and family is the right way to go. It's only depressing and bland if you make it depressing and bland. You can't generalize yourself to everyone like that. Starting smoking cannabis regularly, several times a day, changed my life. I was 30-ish, criminal justice degree and an 8-year career catching shoplifters for several major retailers. I was good at it, but I made $17-ish an hour, and my career was at a dead end. I was motivation-less, and was generally depressed as shit. I had spent about 3 years like that, just waking up, waiting to die. One day a friend gave me some cannabis, and it was like a cloud was lifted. I began to see that my only solution to my problem was me. Today I am making more than double that income as a computer programmer. This morning I am working on my laptop from the back patio of my new 4-bedroom home overlooking a lovely lake. And there's a nice bowl of kush burning beside me. Well, you don't have to have kids. In fact, if you don't want them, it's best you don't have them. Absolutely. I was raised on the whole become an adult, get married, have kids, retire dream. I spent my teen years and early adulthood absolutely dreading it. I didn't want kids at all, but everyone kept saying I would change my mind. At about 21 I had a light bulb moment when I suddenly realized that that path was just one option, not a destiny. 20 years on I've been happily unmarried to the same person for 15 plus years, we each own our own homes, I have a career I love but doesn't engulf my life, have no children, travel around to see the world. Not having kids was the best decision I ever made. I have never regretted it. I have so much freedom to make choices that are right for me. Some people love kids and want to share their lives with them, but it is just not for me. Write a great novel? Sculpt something amazing. Invent a better spoon. Concoct a new cocktail. Invent an entirely novel use of linguine noodles. Study material sciences, solve the problems inherent in space elevator construction, take us into an age of cheap orbit, harvest asteroids for their immense material wealth and use it to build an interstellar colony ship and spread humanity across the heavens. Or not. Your choice. That's all well and good, but how do you propose improving upon the spoon? It seems to have reached its full potential. You could make a more specialized spoon for certain foods, I'm sure, but the general spoon is pretty much all it can be. I would like a small hooked end that catches the lip of the bowl, and particularly large bowls, to prevent the spoon from sinking too deeply in and getting soup/stew/whatever high up on the neck where your hand touches. There is, so far as we can tell, no grand cosmic purpose or meaning imposed on us from above. Best to make peace with that and find some purpose of your own choosing instead. It doesn't have to be grand or cosmic, just has to be meaningful to you. When I was in my early 20s, I was super nihilistic and subscribed to that whole True Detective Rust Cohle point of view. We are beings that labor under the illusion of a self, when in fact everyone is no one/human consciousness is a tragic misstep in evolution/etc. And I would read stuff like The Trouble with Being Born. It was a tiring and annoying phase that a lot of bored 20-something dudes go through. I've far outgrown that since, and I think now that the only possible meaning we can have in our lives is simply enjoying them. Our consciousness, however ill-defined by science or philosophy it is a gift that separates us from most of the beasts. Use it to appreciate the beauty of the universe around you. To have any life at all is incredibly rare in the hostile, cold chaos of space, and to be alive at all is an extreme privilege. All life is truly precious. Enjoy it, and make it more enjoyable for those around you. Simply put, as I tell my coworkers in the restaurant I work in, don't be bored, be helpful. You just need to subscribe to a different way of thinking. You'll be happier for it. Out of the 14 billion years this universe has existed, humanity, aka human consciousness, has only existed for a flit of that time. You are the universe manifested and reflecting back on itself in some self-aware manner. Relish that notion. Out of all the billions of years of nothingness and increasing universal entropy, you emerged as a being of order. The most known complex thing in our solar system, possibly galaxy, rests at -3 pounds on your neck. The eons it took to get you to this transient 80-year moment is unfathomable. Enjoy your luck and your gift, only a rare few get to experience existence. This reminds me of an old Dear Abby letter where a writer wrote in lamenting that he wanted to go to law school, but he would be 40 by the time he finished it. Abby replied, "And how old will you be if you don't go to law school?" Meaning, you're going to be 40 anyway, why not pursue what you want? You're going to die and fade into oblivion someday no matter what you do. Even if you're famous now, someday the world will forget your name. So make the most of what you have today, whether that's a job and kids, saving to retire early, living alone and traveling, whatever. Also, it really helps to think about why you wanted to do what you want to do. Say, you wanted to buy a house. Because you will feel secure. If you pinpoint that underlying desire, you can achieve it even if you can't get your house or whatever. There are many paths to fulfillment. Nah. The job part is pretty much guaranteed unless you manage to live off the grid, but even then you will need money here and there. You don't need to have kids if you don't want. Death is certain as well, but that just means you have to make the most with the time you have, see the world, do stuff you enjoy, settle down if that makes you happy. Live a life you'll remember. This question is basically why religion exists at all. I know many people on here are anti-religion, so I may get some hate for that statement, but religion can give your life more of a purpose and a hope for something after death. I am a believer in Christianity, but understand many people aren't, and I have nothing against what others believe. Basically, life is what you make of it. Most of us just end up as wage slaves until we die, regardless of the big dreams we all may have. But time stops for no man, so whatever you want to do, you need to start now. This shouldn't be controversial. Nietzsche railed against organized religion, but he also called God a metaphysical anchor, meaning that God can allow you to have a bedrock of meaning where you don't simply fall through into nihilism or existentialism. Now, I'm mixing analogies there, but they seem right to me. I don't like this idea of you have to find what is meaningful to you. We're terrible at simply inventing meaning. I'm not even sure that it's possible in any way. There are things which have always felt meaningful to us that we have to go towards. Getting better at something, being great at something, helping people, adventure, and living a good life. And a good life should not be mistaken for being simply the search of pleasure or fulfilling your senses. That is empty too. A good life is following a set of values and duties, living up to them, and in turn, fulfilling your own potential. Though without religion many people find it easy to fall through and question the point of even these things. My comment here is a little messy, but I've been reading Jung, Dostoevsky and C.S. Lewis recently, and as far as I can tell, this notion rings through all of them. The duties I mentioned are something C.S. Lewis described as the Tao, the way. It's a set of values expressed by most philosophers, from Confucius to Aristotle to St. Aquinas, and it is duty to do good to all men, duty of justice, duty of courage, duty of good faith, duties to grandparents and elders, duties to wife and child, duty to the weak. Anyways, sorry for the rant. I'm not Christian, yet anyways, but I'm very interested in it. Maybe because I really do think transcendent belief is necessary to have a strong sense of meaning and purpose.